first thing we're going to do is trim the motor up, put your lock down to where the motor's held in place like this, and we're going to take this cotter pin loose, the nut loose, and pull the impeller off. Prop maybe, or propeller, that's what pushes the boat along. Impeller is the water pump we're going to change. Where do you get these guys at? Okay, we've got the cotter pin out. This right here you can use to get the nut off. 1 1/16 inch deep well socket. That'll take the nut off, but I strongly recommend buying one of these. I'll put a link in the description below. I keep this on the boat with a spare prop at all times. I found out if you keep sockets and ratchets on your boat, especially if you're near saltwater, they're gonna rust and it's not a good idea. So this right here is awesome. Okay, so we're gonna take a block of wood and you gotta hold that against that to keep that from turning. You don't wanna interfere with this. You don't wanna put it against that. That's never a good idea. So we're gonna put it like that, turn it counterclockwise, I'm sorry. Just like that. It's loose. Okay, so this is your alignment right here. So if you've ever been down the lake and the boat will pull to the left or the right, you got to make sure this is in the correct spot. And we're gonna have to take that off. We've got a bolt under here. So what I'm gonna do is correctly mark right there where this thing's at. So we're gonna take a 12 millimeter to remove this. Okay, so we're gonna remove these 3 on each side, 6 total bolts with a 14 millimeter. Okay, now that we've removed that, you're gonna have a 14 millimeter up in here that we've got to remove. This is the last one left. It started separating here, so my son's holding it. I always leave one in till we're ready to remove it, just as a safety so it doesn't fall off there. On this Suzuki, you've got this tube right here. What we're gonna do is, it's just held on by zip ties. We're gonna cut that zip tie loose and remove this tube just like that. That'll allow it to slide out. He's gonna take it on out. So I put the prop back on, just sit it back up on there, and then 2 jack stands on the side with a block of wood under it. And it sort of holds it still so we can work right here on these 4 bolts for the water pump impeller. Kind of work at it, yeah. It's just been on there a few years. Guys, I was told that these needed to be changed yearly or bi-yearly. I'm not really sure, so we're just gonna change it. You can do your own research and figure out, as far as your maintenance, when you want to remove and replace yours. We're gonna pull this straight up like that, and we're gonna put grease on this, but you wanna replace it with the new one exactly the way this one came off. All right, I want to show you guys this. When you order the kit, it's gonna come with these new gaskets and new plate and new housing for the impeller. That housing will replace this. Pull this out, this will go in. So in the new kit, you're gonna get a little shim right here. So you just take a screwdriver and a hammer and hit the top of it, and it's gonna pop it out. So we're gonna pop that out, and that'll allow you to remove this plate. It just pulls up, just like that. Okay, I do wanna point something out. You don't wanna pop this little shim out, this little locking pin, and have it fall down in there, because I'm really not sure how you get it out from there. That's a whole nother ball game we don't want to get into. Be careful when removing this. Just like that, guys. It's a half moon. Just gonna spray this right in here. Just wipe that off a little bit. So now we're gonna put our gasket over, just like that. Put it on the little dowel pins. All right. Just like that, new plate. Now we're gonna use our half moon that will fit in there. And we're gonna tap it in with a hammer. Careful. All right, so, okay, so we're gonna pull this out just like that. Get this old gasket material out. All right, so we're gonna put our new gaskets in the housing. We're gonna take some marine grade grease, and you're gonna just rub it inside the housing where the impeller goes, and also around the gasket out here. And so we'll put some grease around that, up on this shaft, and inside here for the impeller. Twist the rod clockwise with one hand while pushing down on the top of the housing with the other, and you'll notice it will seat the water pump impeller. So now we put those bolts back on there, and you want to snug them down evenly. You don't want to tighten them too tight on one side, because it's got to push that gasket down. Take it just like that. Don't forget to reconnect the rubber tube to the nipple, and then zip tie it securely before pushing it all the way up. All right, so we just push that up on there. We get those at least 2 bolts on each side just to hold that, so you're not in fear of it sliding back down. Just hand tight, just like that. Okay, so we get the 6 on the sides. Now he's gonna put it back, the center one right there, above the alignment tool, or the alignment gauge, whatever you wanna call it. This is a job you can do by yourself, but if you got an extra pair of hands, it's always a benefit. Put the trim tab plate back on with our alignment mark exactly where we took it off. So I'm gonna put the prop back on, but this thing has a ton of grease and crap. So we're gonna take the WD, clean any junk you've got on there since you're in here. All right, so be sure you use a marine grade grease on all of this. Just like everything came off, fits down in a little slot, then the nut on. You want to tighten it down to where the keyway will allow the cotter pin to go through. Now, if you over tighten it and you don't have that lined up, don't try to force that nut and go even tighter. Back off on the nut because the cotter pin keeps it locked in. Okay, as you see right here, it's almost at the little keyway slot, but not quite. So we'll put our thing on our thing, put our wrench on there, and you just want to get that to the point. Just like that. And you can see the keyway slot. Now we're going to put our cotter pin back through there, just like this. Tap it with a hammer, then you're going to bend the end of the cotter pin. What we want to do now, before you take this thing to the ocean, the lake, the river, wherever, and find out that something you did is not right, don't be that guy. Just go ahead, hook up your either water ears, or we have a straight connection into the Suzuki. So we're gonna hook that up and we're gonna test it out before we get to the lake, the river, the ocean, and then be sitting there and find out that water pump's not working correctly. All right, back up, ladies and gentlemen.
Ready?
Yep, we're ready.
We're ready.
Is that loud? Yes, it's working. Look at that strong stream. That's what you want to see, guys, right here. So finishing up the video, I just got a couple comments, guys asking me what kind of boat is that Suzuki 140 on, and it's on my 21-foot Carolina skiff with T-top, GPS trolling motor. I don't know if you can see it up there. Probably not. All right, guys, taking it out for a trial run. Not sure if you can see it peeing out that side right there. Right